Welcome in to this OHS BVA South Regional Final here on the campus of Princeton High School. It is Moeller against St. Xavier. Alongside Mahir Hassan, I'm Jason Griefer. Great to have you here with us. These two teams enter into tonight ranked number 2 and number 3 in the state, respectively, Moeller and St. Xavier. Moeller comes in 19-6 on the year. They've won 5 of their last 6. Most recently, a sweep of Mason in the regional semis. St. Xavier, meanwhile, comes in 15-5 on the year. They've won 7 in a row. Most recently, going to third seed Walnut Hills and putting a beat down on Walnut Hills in the regional finals, sweeping the match 20-12-11 to get to this point. It's always an interesting thing, Mahir. You look at the way volleyball sets up in Ohio, and it is the case again this year as it's been in the year past. The 3 best teams in the state of Ohio all come out of this region, but only 2 get to go on to the state championship. We already know Elder has moved on. They have won their regional title. Only one of these 2 teams, though, gets to go to Columbus.
Exactly, and I think that's what makes this much more interesting and much more important. You think about St. X. They were at this position last year against Elder, lost a heartbreaker in 5 sets. Moeller was the first seed that year, ended up beating the Panthers in the state championship. So it just shows how important it is to get that big win and especially make that title run. And you look at both of these teams have been quite excellent. These teams combined have taken the last 3 state titles, Moeller in 2018 and 2021, St. X in 2019, as the Bombers look to get their 2nd state title in 3 seasons, for the Crusaders their 3rd and 4th seasons. You look at this, you've said this before, Jason, in other broadcasts. This is a regional final, but it sure does pack like a state final. This is no question.
Let's take a look at the tournament bracket as it stands right now. And here you see we have the other quarterfinalists set. The winner of our matchup here between Moeller and St. X will take on Olentangy Liberty, who took out Mount Vernon in 4 sets earlier on this regional final Saturday. The bottom half of the bracket set as well. Hudson winning a 5-setter over St. Ed's, and Beaver Creek with a sweep over Northmont. As we mentioned, Elder has already advanced to the state tournament. They swept Sycamore to win the regional title on the other side of the South region. Focusing back in here, though, on this matchup, it's interesting looking at these 2 teams. They've already played each other 3 times on the season. X has won 2 of the 3. But you look at the way things break down even further. They've each won on the other's floor, and they also played once already on a neutral site. They played each other in the Centerville Elite Tournament about a month ago. St. X won that one in straight sets. The other 2 matches went 4 sets apiece. So, Mahir, I know you've had extensive coverage in the GCL, but we look at the way things have gone in with St. X winning 3-1 at Moeller, Moeller winning 3-1 at St. X, and as I mentioned, that sweep for St. X over Moeller on a neutral court. I don't know if anybody in this gymnasium knows what to expect from these 2 teams here today.
I don't know either, but here's the other thing. There is a one commonality between those 2 wins, as St. X beat Moeller at Moeller and then Moeller beat St. X at St. X. Both times, the team that did better at the net won the game. Here's what I'm saying, just to clarify it. When Moeller came to St. X, they had 3 guys on the court that had at least 10 kills. Will Patterson, Ben Haggerty, and Nate Renneker. When the Bombers came to the Crusader land, it was Ben Meyer that was getting the kills. He's been leading the Bombers in kills this year with 4.4 kills per set. Also there was also Reed Terrell, who's been leading the team in blocks. He put up a performance of the ages when it came to the net play, which gave us the nickname of the Terrell Terror, as we like to call him there at St. X. And just overall, this is the type of play that you want. I think it depends on which team is more physical. I think whatever team is more physical will be the ones that come out with a victory today. Take, for example, the back line. Brandon Wong, honorable mention on the all-region team, one of the 2 liberos that actually got on the all-region team, any of the all-region teams, mind you. Sam Schwally, who we saw for Elder earlier today, was the other person. On the other side, it's been kind of a toss-up with Bill Ferris and the Bombers. He's gone with Alex Huber early on in the season, but now he's really settled on Nick Stewart, who's been leading the teams in digs, coming off an impressive performance against Walnut Hills. In my opinion, that was his best performance of the year, best performance of his life, as he was really able to control Griffin Wheatley and Evan Tombragle for Walnut Hills. And you look at St. X on the other side, they're facing yet again another great attack and front line in Moeller. It does a little bit different, but that Walnut Hills game was a stepping stone game for them. This is another one. And it's also important to note that the Bombers are looking for revenge in this one as well, as they're currently 3-5 overall when facing a team that they have lost to in the regular season on their home court in the playoffs. That was 2-5 before they beat the Eagles on Wednesday. Trying to do so today, and that too, trying to avenge their 2 home losses of this year. And then for the Crusaders on the other side, trying to avenge St. X side that beat them too. So overall, this is what you call an evenly matched game. This is the definition of it. Even though St. X does have the advantage, I would probably say 16-7 overall according to Max Preps. This is evenly matched. Like you said, Jason, we don't know what to expect, but there's a recipe for success, and I think both teams can build upon it today.
We don't know what to expect here because these two teams are so evenly matched. And again, to go into the other team's house and win in convincing fashion the way both teams have already done against each other just further proves that point. And so this should, we believe this will be a dandy. You get the number 2 and number 3 teams in the state. It can't help but not deliver something to that regard. And we'll be curious to see how, of course, in this one, St. Xavier deals with the size, particularly of Will Patterson up front, 6'9", in the middle in his junior campaign. He was not much of a factor last year on Moeller's state title team. He is this year first team All-State in Ohio, leads the team in kills and blocks. So that'll be an interesting factor there. And also the fact that Moeller this year has a 2-headed monster as far as setters go. It was all J.J. Beckelheimer a year ago. This year it's the sophomore tandem of Ben Markham and Colin Yox, who've combined for over 700 assists on the campaign. So to your point about St. X and what I'm saying here about Moeller, they have a litany of players, both teams do, that can get the job done. It's not just the front 6 that'll be on the floor. These two teams, if they want, they can go 11-12 deep and see no drop-off.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that when you look at that. And it just kind of speaks to both sides. Lee Meyer for Moeller, Bill Ferris for St. X. When they bring up some guys and especially create those teams, they're looking to create an all-around lineup, someone that has depth. When you look at the lineup, obviously we'll see the starting lineup. We'll see that starting rotation upon the first serve. But when you get into the middle of those first set, second set, especially when we get later on, it's those guys that are currently on the bench, some guys that maybe don't get that playing time as much or are fighting for it. Those are the guys that will make the difference.
St. X is looking to return to the state tournament. Moeller, meanwhile, is the defending state champions and looking to get back to the state final for a 4th straight time. Something's going to have to give. These two teams are going to have to go through each other to get back to the state tournament. We're going to have the opening serve. Moeller, St. X in this South Regional Final next on OHSBVABroadcast.com. These two rivals will shake hands now. The fun ends after the handshakes. A regional championship is on the line. Number 2, Moeller. Number 3, St. Xavier. Only one goes to the state tournament to take on Olentangy Liberty on Saturday, June the 4th at Pickerington Central High School. A 10 a.m. start to that quarterfinal matchup. This is the final matchup of the regional weekend. We, at the end of this match, will show you the entirety of the Division I tournament to be played at Pick Central High School on the first weekend of June. Moeller in the gold in the near court, St. X in the blue in the far court. But here you've been following this and covered the GCL for a number of years now. It really doesn't seem to matter the sport, especially when you put a regional championship on the line. This is flat out fun for all of us here in attendance.
Oh yeah, definitely. An interesting fact about it, this is not the first time these two teams have met up, St. X and Moeller, that is, have met up at Princeton High School. They met up on the basketball court right here at Princeton Arena last year. Of course, that one ended up going to overtime. Moeller ended up winning that one in a nail-biter. What was rather historical season for St. X, making it to the regional semis. Moeller Crusaders ended up going out in the final to eventual basketball champions Centerville Elk that year.
The liberos for tonight's final for Moeller, it'll be Brandon Wong, who is on the floor right now in the near court wearing the white jersey. And for St. X, Nick Stewart will be wearing the white jersey on his side. He will start this from the sideline. Brady Jones, the sophomore outside hitter, to start this regional final. First play kept alive off the hand of Meyer, and there's contact at the net. And the first point of this regional final goes to the Bombers as Brody Threm was called for net contact.
Yeah, and it was a great job there by Nick Feldkamp trying to instigate it. Would have pipped it over had it not been called.
This will have to be played from the back. Nice job from the back line from Kyle Tressler. So much downward trajectory on that swing from the big fella from the back right. And Moeller will serve for the first time. And Nate Reneker will have it on hand. 18 aces on the season for the senior. We'll go with a standing serve this time. He has a running, jumping serve he'll unleash at times, but this one is good for his 19th ace of the season, and Moeller has its first lead of this regional final.
And by using just that simple float serve, it's just able to catch St. X off guard. Even when you use a standing float serve, as we see here, it just catches you off guard just right in that moment, even though it doesn't have the flair such as a top serve, and definitely a jump top has.
Out wide, kept alive by Stewart. Diving attempt on the back line, kept alive. Good back and forth action, and it's advantage Moeller. And it's 3 straight for the Crusaders. Get the sense of kind of a feeling out process right now between these two teams. Of course, they know each other in and out. It's the 4th time they've played each other on the season, but there'll be a little bit of tenseness here early on, which is understandable. Reneker goes long this time. Harmeyer sets it up. That's deflected. Wong keeps it alive for Moeller. It's punched over by Haggerty, I should say. To the back line. Wong can't get that one. That is nicely done by Meyer. Second team All-State Bentley Meyer is, and gets the serve back for the Bombers.
And Bentley Meyer has just been an animal outside on the left for St. X this year. He's been able to jump high. He's one of the best verticals I've ever seen. And when you combine that, even with the spikes earlier leading up to that kill, you saw his potency there in the attack. That's going to be wary for Moeller today.
Reed Terrell trying to go towards the back corner, goes too long, and for the first time, Will Patterson is into the match for Moeller, wearing 16 in gold on the front line. 6'9", first team All-State performer. Moeller 4, St. Xavier 2. This is Brody Threm on serve. This one going out wide. Oh, a soft touch on the outside by Meyer just to keep that in play. From the back, Reneker can't get it done. Reloading is Tressler, and 6'9", paying off as Will Patterson has the block his 34th of the season, and it's 5-2 in favor of Moeller.
Again, 6'9", headed to Ball State, where the Cardinals were just fresh off a Final Four appearance, too, in the NCAA men's volleyball tournament. This guy's got a bright future ahead of him. Simple as that. That was just a simple block.
Into the middle, a little bit of a mistime on the jump, but Moeller out of sorts there. Surprised to see Threm that time just stab out with the left hand, almost in a sense of hope. He heads out, Wong back in, and now Bentley Meyer to serve for the Bombers. Back line, right down the pipe goes Ben Haggerty.
And Hager did too with his first kill of the day. As I noted at the top of the show, he had 13 kills in his last matchup against the Bombers, leading the team too, surprisingly, even over Patterson, who's doing quite a good job this year.
There is Patterson right there. Not much on that attempt by Tressler as he mistimed his jump, and Patterson with the easy rejection. And Moeller's lead at 4. They've scored 7 of the first 10. This is Ben Markham on serve, nearly 500 assists on the year for him. Patterson is there again. Feldkamp tried to test Patterson, and just too much size in the middle, and Bill Ferris needs a timeout for the Bombers as Will Patterson has made his presence felt immediately off the bench. Multiple blocks already for the outstanding junior. Moeller leads early by 5. Will Patterson making his impact with multiple blocks already at the net. Moeller, you can see right now, but here playing fast and loose. St. X, I'm getting the feeling a little bit of tightness on their side early on.
And I think the other point to it is just trying to get that feel-out process. You know, sure they beat Walnut Hills, sure they beat Princeton, although Princeton, granted, was not the best of teams. There's still some comfort, and then also just trying to get some momentum back as we see here. You know, St. X Moeller, even though it is still an evenly matched game, there are so many runs up and down. It starts at the JVB level, going all the way to these varsity games today. So don't count St. X out just yet. There's a reason why coaches often wait till about 20 before they start saying, you know what, this team has the advantage.
That ball deflected a couple of times, and the Bombers will get it over. It'll be a free opportunity here, and Patterson will take it in the middle, and Stewart, nice play to keep it alive. Miscommunication on the back there, but X able to maintain. The back set this time going away, and that is a missile hit on the far side. What a hammer drop on that far side by Haggerty. But give Charles Krebs credit over there for taking one for the team, but there's just nothing you can do with that.
Moeller's the one making the easy plays right now, Jason. St. X, although they're trying, this is the best that I've seen them this year when it comes to running around, trying to keep points up in the air. They're just letting these ones go away.
10-4 in favor of Moeller. X just has not really settled into its offense as of yet. Haggerty on serve and does not crawl over the tape. We know with two teams as stellar as these are, all it can take is one play like that to completely swing momentum onto the other side.
And that too taking the serve right now is Mike Harmeyer. Often going with his float serve, as you just saw there, just able to kind of work his way through it.
Trying to dump over, Wong fills in nicely behind. The back set to the far side, cross court, and the Bombers there. Tressler through the wall. Gesselbrock and put Patterson in good position. Tressler just better. Moeller 10, St. X 6. Wong up the left side, and Reneker this time gets the job done on the left. Patterson heads out and Threm into the front. So that'll change things now for St. X. We'll see how they react now that Patterson is off the floor on the rotation.
And at the same time, too, Brandon Wong's now taking the serves. He is a master of putting runs together, especially with Moeller now up by 5.
Tressler trying on the right that time, couldn't get it done. Haggerty goes well long from the back.
And again, it's with Patterson out, Patterson often is not a person to run the pipe. He's more of a middle. Hagerty, more of that typical outside type of guy, known for using a pipe. So it is rather interesting to see Hagerty in his progressions there, although he has had some struggles, and now we're seeing Moeller struggle some more.
The pass from Markham led his man Reneker wide, and that's a tough angle to try and get that cross court and land, and so X chipping away at the deficit. It's down to 3. And now Tressler goes long. Sophomore Tyler Gesselbrock now to serve. Nice job by Stewart just to keep that one up. Markham quick in the middle, Threm trying to force it wide there, and I think Stewart didn't read the line there. That looked like that was headed wide on that far side.
Yeah, again, I think Stewart kind of had to make a last-minute decision there. I think it might have stayed in.
That ball just barely cleared the tape. And this one going long. Was it tipped? No. The Bombers trying to say it was. That is not the case as Bentley Meyer misses long, and Moeller has pushed the lead out to 6. Just over the tape. Gesselbrock flirted with the tape on the previous serve, and this time he hits it, but has enough force on it to crawl over, and the lead is 7 now, the last 4 to the Crusaders. Gesselbrock again goes cross court this time and misses wide. Brady Jones, the sophomore, now to serve. Use a run. His team back into this first set. Nate Reneker has other ideas on the left for Moeller.
And once again, as I said earlier, Reneker was one of those guys that was able to break the walls, especially early on in that first set against St. X back at St. Xavier's Burning Gymnasium that day, and especially on that left-hand side towards the bottom of your screen. Watch him there, especially with St. X trying to get the walls together, trying to get that cohesiveness.
Moeller forcing St. X to make the plays, and right now the Bombers aren't doing it. Moeller just playing simple and efficient volleyball, and they have themselves an 8-point lead here in the opening set. And Reneker on serve. Quick play into the middle, and that one is ruled out. Momentum stays with Moeller, and another St. X timeout as the Crusaders have doubled up the Bombers here in the first set. It's 18-9 Crusaders. Cast.com. Moeller 18, St. X 9 in the opening set of this South Regional Final. But here, what are you seeing from St. X that's causing them to fall behind the way they are?
I think it's just their net play in general. Whenever Moeller's meeting them, they're not getting up and typically blocking. I don't think there's been a single block today from the St. Xavier front line. In the back, they've tried their best. I'll give credit to Nick Stewart and the DSs and all the guys back there. But in the front, it's just lacking right now because Moeller's just had pretty stern front line, and they're not mixing it up.
There you go. Front line play on the defensive side paying off for Moeller, even with Patterson on the bench. Harmeyer's doing his best in the middle there for the Bombers to set things up, but the outside guys have just not been able to consistently deliver. It's a 10-point Moeller lead. Harmeyer. Love that play that time from St. X, using Feldkamp as a decoy and going to Meyer in behind for the put away. That's a clever play drawn up by Bill Ferris during that timeout. Terrell with a bad miss. That nearly went into the stands just below us, into the Bomber student section. 20-10 in favor of Moeller. And now Brody Threm on serve. 29 aces on the season, but a bad miss hit to give it back to X. Still a comfortable lead for Moeller, and they have not really been threatened much in this first set. Patterson back in, misses wide.
And again, we've seen this throughout the whole GCL, really. When you see these sophomores, or in this case, Patterson, a junior, sure, they look lethal, but at the same time, they sure are a loose cannon. Patterson is no difference there.
Patterson, the decoy this time. It's kept alive on the back on the attempt from Haggerty. From the back, and a miss hit from Meyer. That went right into the net. I don't see a lot of confidence on the St. Xavier side right now when they have the possession.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too.
They look very tentative.
Doesn't seem to be a sign of revenge from the side.
Feldkamp gets that one off the hand of Patterson to take the serve back. Still an 8-point Bomber deficit. And now Nick Stewart, the junior libero, to serve. Pass out wide, tough angle for Gesselbrock to keep it in play. Blocked by Patterson. Nothing on that ball from Tressler at all. That was an easy block for Patterson once more on that far side.
And again, I think Tressler's going a little mix-up here, but I think it looks like the point has gone to St. X. Tressler did a pretty good job against Walnut Hills going up, but at the same...
Actually overturned it there. So it is a point to St. X. Didn't see what the infraction was against Moeller, but never the case. So advantage to the Bombers. They go into the middle. Wong is there. Tressler will try again. Patterson got that one, I believe he did. X's coaching staff trying to say that Patterson pushed that one over, but the call not awarded to St. X, and so Moeller takes the serve back, leading 22-14 in the opener. This is Ben Haggerty. Tressler again, kept alive. Reneker into the middle. Tressler couldn't get there, just sets it through. Moeller wanting a lift, won't get it. Doesn't matter anyways. Gesselbrock goes up the sideline. 23-14 in favor of Moeller.
And that's one thing that I've seen out of Gesselbrock too, is that he's kind of grown in patience, where Patterson has really shifted in to that middle position, and he's been able to fill the roles such as seniors from last year that helped the Crusaders win the state title.
Tressler a little too much on it, goes long, and now I didn't think I would say this leading into this matchup. 10 set points on the floor for either side. It's in favor of Moeller now. Quick play to the middle, and that did not get touched by Moeller, and this set is over with a quickness. Moeller, a dominating showing in set one as they run away from St. X. In this regional final, 25-14, the Bombers will look to regroup in set two in just a moment. Set number two about to begin in this second South Regional Final. Moeller cruises to a set one win, 25-14. But here, I thought in that first set, Moeller looked relaxed. They looked comfortable. St. Xavier on the other side, they were on their heels that entire first set. They never really bothered Moeller much in that opener.
Yeah, most definitely. And it started out with Moeller's big middle, Will Patterson, as he picked up around 3 to 4 blocks in between. And it was the simple, also usual suspects, if you're St. X, Ben Haggerty, and then Nate Reneker, who are also there on the attack. Those guys kind of reprising their roles from the St. X game, in which the Crusaders won quite handily. They won this one 25-14. That first set, they won 25-16. So if you're the Bombers, here's the thing. Sit back, relax. This is a new set.
I think the other thing St. X might want to think about doing in this is diversifying their offense more as we go along, really force-feeding Kyle Tressler on that front left side a lot in that first set, and he was not having a lot of success getting through that front wall of Moeller.
Yeah, Tressler coming off an 11-kill performance against Walnut Hills. Meyer was the only guy ahead of him with 12, although Ben Meyer has been quite a nifty option for the Bombers. He lines up here in the center back position.
Set two underway, and X does change offense, go up the middle. Moeller somehow able to play that over. Now from the back, a missile. An absolute missile from Matthew Pung, who's in for the first time. Boy, heck of a way to make your presence off the bench.
And that's exactly what Pung does. He is the guy that tries to catch people out of position. He's a loose cannon, and boy, does he strike with power. That's exactly what you expect out of him.
Got to find somebody to give you a spark. As Threm goes long, and it was not tipped, and so good start here for the Bombers with the first two. Krebs to play it in once more. This will be Wong going to the left, looking for Haggerty. Playable for the Bombers. Pung again, this time is blocked. From the back, dug out, and will indeed go long. I had to pause there for a moment. I thought it might have caught the sideline, but it did not. It's 3-0 X.
Now the biggest thing here is guess who's making the mistakes now? Moeller, because St. X now has pace. Now they have control too.
Haggerty puts the end of the run. And so, nevertheless, the start I think X needed just to get some confidence going here in the second. Yes, they've lost the serve now, and Brody Threm will come back for Moeller early in the second, but a nice start for St. X. Indecisiveness. Stewart was in the area and vacated there, and I think it's a natural disposition for the libero to get out of the way there, and Meyer never came to get it. Pung through the wall. Swings with almost a reckless abandon, does he, on that front left side, and sometimes that's what you need. Just muscle your way through that wall.
And just power, too. I mean, just looking at this crowd, it looks like could be half and half, but in my opinion, I think there's more Bomber fans here than Crusaders fans.
No doubt. St. X fans do travel more. Stewart should have let that one go. Patterson in the middle off the hand of Meyer.
Once again, we see Patterson almost do a backdoor, but at the same time, not. Just simply just turn on his feet, just lift his hand up. That's kind of simple college volleyball that you want to see.
He's not a guy that's relied upon to carry the bulk of the offense. He's just a big guy out there who just always seems to be lurking and can come get you at any time on the offensive side. Good scramble here for X, and out wide, Meyer has it sent back, and Harmeyer will reload. Bentley Meyer again. Wong is there in perfect position. Patterson on the quickie. It's deep, and now Meyer sends it through. Free ball here for Moeller. Patterson quick in the middle, off the fingertips. It's kept alive. And now we have a net violation. Patterson couldn't get out of the way of the man behind him. And it's over to the Bombers. One of the better rallies we've had in the match thus far.
And how about that wrist shot there by Matthew Pung, trying to get the dig there. I mean, that was pretty impressive. That shows that he's evolving too, not just as an offensive guy, who, as you said, can be a reckless weapon, but at the same time can also be a defensive guy as well.
Well, just read that ball beautifully on the back line off the hand of Haggerty and knew it was going long, let it go. 6-3. in favor of St. X.
And now you have Nick Stewart taking the serve here as the libero. He's a guy that can try to get some pace, and just like that, changes.
That's a terrific low flat set from Ben Markham. Put it right in the wheelhouse for Patterson. Patterson thrived on those last year, getting those from J.J. Beckelheimer, who's now an assistant coach at Moeller. The point, though, given right back as Haggerty fires it into the lower half of the net. And this will bring on Harmeyer to the back line to serve. Mike Harmeyer, the quarterback of this Bombers offense. A low flat here. Back set this time, deflected, and point to Moeller. Seeing Moeller also not really being challenged on these serve receives at all. Rather simple plays being made. Again, tic-tac-toe volleyball Moeller's playing right now on offense.
And at the same time, I think St. X is channeling that power into what's going at the front line. They have a decent front line now, as we see Harmeyer, as you see Reed Terrell also there, Brady Jones. Both guys can block at the net, although they give up yet another point here.
Terrell tried to push that one to the sideline and went too far. And Wong will try and serve to level the set. Here is Terrell. Left side, Reneker. A meeting at the net, advantage Moeller. 7-7 here in the second. Wong once again. Harmeyer, nice back set. Nicely done by Bentley Meyer. That, from my perspective here, that's the best offensive point St. X has had this entire match.
I agree too. It shows Harmeyer's ability to use the back set, which he hasn't done much, but nonetheless, he could do well. He often tends to turn it towards the direction of his attacker, but nonetheless, doing some well, and now he got an ace.
An ace there off a poor play from Reneker. One of the few times we've seen Moeller struggle with serve receive. But an ace for Meyer. Second team All-State performer. You knew he wasn't going to stay quiet for long. But goes long here to give the point right back. And Moeller will serve once again to try and tie things. It'll be on the hand of sophomore Tyler Gesselbrock.
This has been a problem for Meyer, but it can also apply to all the other Bombers out there. When they get the momentum going, it just doesn't seem to go their way and fully take control because of those missed serves. Like kind of how the Reds say, walks will haunt, missed serves haunt the Bombers.
And Ben Markham haunting St. X there with the dump over on the second touch. And we are tied at 9. Meyer safely over on the third. A free ball here for the Crusaders. Threm through the back and through to the lead is Moeller. Still continue here to not see the energy that I expected to see from St. X. They have been flat from the start tonight. Harmeyer out wide to Pung, trying to push his way through. And misses on the sideline. It's 11-9 in favor of Moeller.
It looks like Pung was once again trying to get that deflection, but again, it just ran into the net. I think the Bombers have some problems with that. It's not that much, but still, it could be wary. Here's Pung again.
There it is. That's what he likes to do, but Haggerty in perfect position. Wong feeding it up to Reneker, and that is blocked nicely by Terrell. He has been struggling thus far in the match, and maybe that'll be the play that gets Reed Terrell going. And you can see the energy that fed throughout the rest of the team as well, both on the floor and on the bench. He is a critical piece to the Bombers' success.
That's the reason why we call him the Terrell Terror.
Reneker, back corner, got it. Gotta tell you, Mahir, impressive the way Moeller just keeps the pressure on. They don't get rattled. And anytime X has tried to get momentum off of a play like that block from Terrell, Moeller has snatched it right back this far.
And it also shows their versatility as well.
12-10 in favor of Moeller. Harmeyer went into the net and also called for a double. Take your pick. It's a 3-point Moeller lead. I got to tell you, if I'm Bill Ferris on that sideline, I might be thinking about a timeout coming here soon. You don't want to let this set get away from you. Reneker goes soft with the serve. Harmeyer out wide to Pung. That's deflected, kept alive by Markham. Cross court, Stewart again struggling on a ball that probably was going to go wide. That's the third or fourth time we've seen Stewart make a play like that on a ball he didn't need to touch. (14-10) in favor of Moeller. Reneker to the back middle. Quick play into the middle, somehow kept alive. X wanting a lift and a double from the back there. It's not going to matter anyway. They'll get the point as Pung delivers the goods. Boy, I'll tell you here, where would St. X be in the second set without Matthew Pung coming off the bench?
I don't know what it will be.
He has been very good. They've needed his boost.
And that too, Pung was a guy that didn't see much action against Walnut Hills. Like I said at the top of the show, it's the guys that come off the bench that are going to make the difference.
Haggerty takes it right back.
Now I think if I'm Coach Ferris, I still got that timeout in my pocket. I still think if you get to a 5-point difference, you could use it. Because that's kind of a turning point. When you get to 5, that's when you start to get concerned.
Pung. Was that tipped? Yes, it was. Got through the hands of Patterson that time. But I like the fact that Pung is not afraid to challenge Patterson at the summit. And now here he is, Matthew Pung, the junior, on serve. Long, just long.
And that's the shift for Pung, is just trying to get that kind of reckless power and channel that into a true driving force instead of it being a loose cannon as we saw there. That's what I was thinking of as he went back to take the serve. Just try to have that change of momentum.
The back set out wide, but Gesselbrock goes into the net.
I have to say the Bombers are being quite stern here as we have an interesting matchup of the net. We've got Tyler Gesselbrock and Will Patterson for Moeller, Mike Harmeyer, Brady Jones, and Bentley Meyer for St. X.
Gesselbrock able to get the job done this time. Sorry to the fans down there, you can't help your team even though they're wearing the blue and the white. A for effort though. Haggerty on serve, 17-13 in favor of Moeller. Harmeyer, quick into the middle, nicely done to Brady Jones. Again, diversifying your offense pays off right there, not only to go to the middle, but with the quick set and delivery.
Yep, exactly. That's one thing about Harmeyer, he's not just going with those 2-set balls. I've been covering him since JVB, his freshman year, and that's what his biggest thing is, just trying to diversify his setting attack too.
Patterson hit that one off the fingertips and it goes wide, and so to your point, here X just continues to scratch, continues to fight.
And now I think the guys are focused and confident too, unlike that first set.
And that'll be a double called against Patterson, and the Bombers within 1. And I think Moeller's thinking about a timeout here, also trying to contend something on the other side. The Crusaders will not call for time. If X ties it here, I think Lee Meyer will spend a timeout. Back set pushed over. Free ball here for the Bombers to tie it up. Meyer, no. This has to be frustrating for the Bombers that every time they've got a chance to seize momentum, they are stopped very quickly.
And again, that too by the blocks. That's been their problems today, is they've just been unable to escape it. I think they've been so trapped in that idea of just using it, especially even in their past games, that they don't use it. And then you have moments like that where Brady Jones kind of just splits the defense right through the middle, in which Moeller was kind of lacking, at least at that moment, to at least bring some kind of momentum back to St. X.
It feels like X is just dying to get over the top and get into the lead. And perhaps that could be the thing that unlocks their full potential. As that one hits the antenna, we are tied at 18, and we will now see a Moeller timeout. X is not going away. Moeller has showed signs of running away, but the Bombers have drawn level late here in the second. We're tied at 18. First time we've heard a rallying cry from the Moeller contingent across the way, trying to get their team turned around here as they've led through much of this set. But the St. X Bombers continue to hang around, and they've drawn level, and Bentley Meyer will have it on serve to try and put St. Xavier ahead here late in the second. No communication. Markham, the setter, just froze up front for Moeller, and St. X does have the lead You need breaks if you're trying to rally, and that was one for St. X. Markham will play it this time out wide to Reneker, and it's kept alive. Meyer stepped in front of Stewart. Markham with the back set. Gesselbrock through the wall and down.
And that time too, Pung was in the right space at the right time. But yet again, that's what happens when you play Patterson. He just has so much power that maybe it's just better to back up. You had Nick Stewart behind you. He could have taken it away. As I said earlier, coming off the game of his life against Walnut Hills on Wednesday.
Gesselbrock fires that one wide, and so X back in the lead. And on serve, it'll be Brady Jones, who's had a couple of big points in this rally in the set. He'll look to try and push the X lead to 2. And he'll do it. Little help from the tape. The return is sent wide. (21-19) in favor of St. X. That play from Wong going over. Wong fills in behind, and Moeller will regather. Reneker blocked. Wong is there. Set, blocked again. Back set this time. Gesselbrock can't get much on it. Pung with the swing, misses. Jones was trying to argue on the blue side that it was tipped. That's not the case. And now it is Moeller and Nate Reneker to serve to try and tie us at 21.
And if you're the Bombers, you still have momentum. And for Moeller, this is a taking point here, being tied. Fun fact, too, at least from a St. X perspective, they have played many sets as they have not been, or at least in the years, they have never been a #1 seed. Seven of those sets, have been decided by 2 points.
It seems like we're headed there right now as we are tied at 21 as Pung sends one well long on the near side. And Reneker, throughout this match, has stayed with this simple overhead on the serve. Back set this time, Wong fills in beautifully. And it's sent over, free play for the Bombers. Harmeyer, quick in the middle, and read well by Gesselbrock, poked over. Harmeyer with the back set this time. It's blocked by Thrum, kept alive. Another battle up front. And this time it is St. X who gets the benefit of the break.
And that's what you want to see out of a front line. Not only were they just able to get up there and attack and send it back, but they also had the reaction pace to go back there and really show that they could really truly be there. They were reactive, and more importantly, they were prepared.
Krebs with the serve. Markham, not the best set there. He'll get away with it. Threm came in using those long arms to poke it over to tie the set at 22, and Will Patterson returns for the Crusaders on the front line. Brandon Wong, the libero, heads out. And Brody Threm, the junior, to play. That ball tipped and through. Nicely done by Feldkamp in the middle off of a nice pass from Harmeyer.
Once again, you're seeing Feldkamp kind of coming to himself and especially use that middle position to his advantage. Fresh off a 5-kill performance against Walnut Hills, he basically ate up the Eagles' just middle position and backline alive there.
Seeing Alex Huber come in, and not what you want coming in now if you're Huber. Right into the net. 23 all. This is Markham to serve. Goes right at Huber. Clever, clever dump on the second by Harmeyer. And now St. X has a set point.
That was extra smooth there by Harmeyer. Nothing else you could say about it. He's started to use that setter's dump to try to see himself as an attack man from time to time.
Moeller stays alive as Haggerty gets it done on the right side. 24 all. Haggerty back to serve, off the tape, but makes it playable. That ball deflected and wide. Bentley Meyer gets it done.
Great play there by St. X, just drawing it up, trying to catch Moeller out of play, especially with Meyer, as he can jump out of the sky almost to reach that. And that's what you want to do, especially the attackmen for Moeller weren't ready for it.
Set point number 2. Staved off by Reneker.
Once again, Reneker just finding the open spaces and just able to just draw his way through. I think he's been able to just overall just bring momentum back for the Crusaders, even in times of need like this.
Brandon Wong on serve, 25 all. Harmeyer into the middle, kept alive. Somebody's got to play it. Hegarty finally sends it safely through. Harmeyer out wide. That's blocked and over. Threm pokes it up. Reneker wide. This will be a tough play around the antenna. He got it there. A bad back set, but saved by Huber. Reneker reloads, blocked and down. We're finally reaching the point we thought it would be at the beginning of this match here, and St. X will have another set point opportunity. We're finally seeing that high-level volleyball on both sides.
And I think St. X too, they're playing like they own it too. They're playing with the momentum. They know that this is the playoffs. It's go time right now.
Meyer for the set. Markham with the back set. Threm, and again, Moeller turns it away. This is good stuff on both sides. 26 all. And you have to win by 2. Dump into the middle. Oh, such a cheeky play from Brady Jones. He's dropped the hammer multiple times in the middle. That time with a feather touch will give St. X its 4th set point opportunity. And now he is on serve. Kesselbrock from the back. Playable. Pung with the swing and long. Was that touch? No, it was not.
Pung had the right idea there, but just was unable to really just draw down to the ground. That's how he's been able to get kills here in this second set. And I think he just went swinging for the fences. Might have gotten a little too greedy in the process too.
27 apiece. Reneker to serve it. Everybody in this gymnasium understanding the significance of this set. Reneker from the back. Harmeyer into the middle and missed wide by Feldkamp. And now Moeller has its first set point opportunity here in the second. The play was there. Feldkamp went just about a foot wide. And Reneker now with the serve to try to put Moeller up 2-0. Quick play from behind, off the net, and Wong will not get it over.
Once again, the Terrell there can be a Terrell tricky, as we just saw. As I said earlier, towards the start of the second set, the Bombers needed to diversify. You're seeing them opting for the dinks here, and it's just causing some confusion over time.
Krebs just long. No more than a ball length long, and it'll be set point number 2 for Moeller and Brody Threm to try and close it out. To the side, Harmeyer to Pung. You know he's swinging for it. It's kept alive. Harmeyer back to Pung. Kept alive, but not in play. 29 all.
So Pung's out, Huber's now in, and Huber's had some troubles today with the serves, including missing one that was eventually the match point for the Crusaders in that one at the Burning Gym a few days ago. Meanwhile, St. X has got it back at a set point, or so we thought.
No, now they'll say it's tipped. A late overturn, and Bill Ferris is incensed. I got to tell you, Mahir, I didn't see a tip there, and I didn't hear one either.
Me neither.
So instead, it's over to Moeller. It'll be the 3rd set point for the Crusaders. And now a timeout has been called by the Bombers. And Bill Ferris walking away from everything to cool himself down. Moeller has a set point opportunity. This set has been a dandy. You'll see it on the other side of this break. A bit of controversy on that last play as St. X thought they were about to have their 5th set point. Instead, a call on a ball out was overturned, and the official said X deflected it instead. Moeller now has its 3rd set point, leading 30-29. Ben Markham to play it in. Out of the far side, that's kept alive. Harmeyer looking for Meyer. Wong with an incredible dig. It got the job done. Are you kidding me with that dig from Brandon Wong? That is an incredible play from the senior libero.
There's a reason why he's one of the best in the GCL to do it. We just saw it there. It seems like every time the Bombers go to Wong, they return it right back. He's the one setting the pace, and he just won the set for the Crusaders there.
Moeller 31, St. X 29. The Crusaders now lead 2-0. St. X has to rally and win them all from here on out. Set 3 begins on the other side of this timeout. Set number 3 of this South Regional Final to begin. Moeller won a thriller in set 2, 31-29. Jason and Mahir bringing you everything from Princeton High School. Mahir, you look at the St. X side. Fought their way back, had a lead late in the second. 4 different times they could have closed it out. They didn't get the job done. How do they go about rebounding here in set 3 and try to extend the match?
I think you still try to get some momentum on your side, and you do that by just setting the tone early. You know what? You say, you know what? Obviously we didn't win that set, but we may have been the better team on the court. And that's the type of confidence the Bombers need to have. Sure, being down 2 sets is not what you want, as you got to win set 3. If you win set 3, you got set 4. And if you win set 4, there's a good chance you're taking that momentum into set 5. Sure, they have to run the course, but don't treat it as a sprint. Treat this as a marathon.
The Bombers will begin with the serve here in the 3rd. We did not see Kyle Tressler at all on the floor in the 2nd set, giving way to Matthew Pung, and Pung will stay on the floor to begin the 3rd. And I think right now, if you're Bill Ferris, ride the hot hand and Pung. He was much more effective in the 2nd than Tressler was in the 1st. Battle for it up front. Both teams in scramble mode. Now from the back, that ball was not tipped. Haggerty trying to say it was, but it goes over to St. X. Bill Ferris arguing on the play on the far side. That ball did not get inside the antenna when it crossed. The Bombers wind up getting the point anyway. This is Jones on serve, and Markham will go with the back set. Threm on the slide, gets it through the wall.
And Threm there just with a good back door. Just have that connection there with, I believe, Markham. Just try to get kind of that connection, just a rhythm going in general. We haven't seen many back doors. I know St. Xavier's Kyle Toom was really good at doing that last year. Not too many guys we've seen it this year do so.
One of the few times we've seen that in this match. In fact, the first that I can recall either side try that backdoor slide. As Terrell gets it going, he'll head out. Charles Krebs in to serve. That's been the customary rotation substitution. Markham out wide. Haggerty, boy, what a bullet off the chest of Krebs. I think Krebs was caught by surprise that Haggerty went up the line the way he did, as opposed to going cross court to tie us at 2. Brody Threm on serve. Krebs handles this one fine. Pung took a step back that time and it paid off.
And it caught a few deflections on the way. I think Patterson might have gotten his touch to it before the back line got into it.
Will Patterson, outside of those defensive plays he made early in the first set, has not been a major factor in this one, and that's not his role offensively for Moeller. They don't rely on him much. They'll go to him here and he'll deliver the goods, but it's not one that you rely on a lot offensively for the Crusaders.
And I think that's just about that diversifying the attack when you look at the Crusaders. I think in the first matchup, Patterson was being over-relied on, and after the first set in which the Crusaders had a good rhythm going, they couldn't keep it going for the second, third, fourth set as the Bombers won in 4.
That ball floats back over the net, and Feldkamp says, I'll end this now. 4-3 St. X. The winner advances to the state quarterfinals to take on Olentangy Liberty on Saturday, June the 4th, up at Pickerington Central High School, as Stewart fires it into the net here. We will have exclusive live coverage of the state tournament right here on OHSBBABroadcast.com. Once you finish watching them live, you can go back and watch them on demand at your leisure in the future, including also this regional action we've had throughout the state of Ohio as Meyer puts that one away here in this South Regional Final. Fed our ESP Media team throughout the Buckeye State, covering all 4 regions in both Division I and Division II. You can catch it all right here on OHSBBABroadcast.com. St. X with a 5-4 lead. Patterson goes wide and holding his shoulder just a bit there as he came down. Well, that could be an interesting development there. Really grabbing at that right shoulder is Will Patterson. That is his dominant shoulder. Gesselbrock with a safe play over. Harmeyer going with the back set this time. Nicely done by Terrell. He has been much more of a terror, to your point here, on that right side here since the start of the second set.
And it's funny you say that, too, because Terrell overall, I mean, at least before Brady Jones came back in early May, his main role was as a middle. So just overall, it shows his versatility. Of course, head coach Bill Ferris really wants to see that out of his guys and kind of cultivates this team culture about how they're always competing. It doesn't matter where you are on the court, you're always going to help out the team.
Patterson heads out. Not seeing him really motion towards that right shoulder right now, working it just a bit. Long to play it in now. Quick play into the middle and quickly put away by Brady Jones. That's been St. X's most effective offense here tonight, is that quick set from Harmeyer to Jones.
And overall, it's just being in the middle. They've realized, too, like, even with Patterson out, you got Gesselbrock. You got other guys, too. Renneker and Hagerty have been a problem as well. When you get out on the right side, they realize that's going to be your pot of gold. They're up 9-5 right now.
And quickly going into the middle when Patterson goes out as well. Yes, 9-5, St. X lead here in the third. They've been the more aggressive team offensively in this third set thus far. Long on the serve. Meyer misses. And so Gesselbrock, the sophomore, will play it deep on the right side.
It has been interesting to see Meyer's serve because earlier in the year he did go with the jump top serve, which was rather high, but he's gone with the float serve against Walnut Hills, and he did so today as well.
There's the terror, Reed Terrell on the right side again, immediately taking the serve back, and it'll put Jones on serve for the Bombers and a 4-point lead. High floater sails well long. This will be Renneker for Moeller. Harmeyer with the back set. Terrell again. Harmeyer's getting better and better, more comfortable with the back sets as we go along here tonight, and Terrell continuing to deliver. A couple of points now. He'll head out. Krebs in to serve. St. X maintaining a lead over Moeller here in the third after Moeller took the first 2 sets. Markham straight up to Gesselbrock. Back line, caught it.
First time in a while I've seen Moeller use the back row attack, and that too with Gesselbrock, as it looks like Patterson is back in the game fresh off his little knock with the shoulder. But back to my point about Gesselbrock, just uncontested there on the back line.
Threm deep in the middle. Plays it right side. Stewart pops it up. Harmeyer out to Pung. And beauty on the back for Matthew Pung. He's had more success, Aaron Mahiris, sorry about that. When he's taking a couple of steps back from the net, giving him more room to work through that wall. And now Moeller has a timeout here.
Yeah, so going back to my point about Pung, is that's what you want to see out of him, is just trying to use that versatility. You mentioned it about just taking a couple steps back. He's not really doing a loose cannon motion. We've seen him do the pipe throughout the season, but really on that left-hand side, especially towards the top of your screen, folks, this is where we're seeing Pung kind of work through the motions and really, as you saw there, drive it towards the ground. I think about it from this perspective. Will Patterson knocking one to the ground, and if it was to sail high up into the ceiling over here, is much different than one that just sails over with the dink. And Pung, I think, is starting to recognize that and really channel his energy into the part that where the court is.
Yeah, much more controlled as we've seen things go along. And you can understand, especially early on, coming in cold to start the second set, probably going to be maybe a little overzealous out there on the floor. But I tell you, you mentioned it when he first came into the match, he is that sub off the bench that comes in and makes an impact right away, and he has done that throughout the second and here in the third. And he has helped keep St. X with a steady lead here in the third, as it stands now at 12-8 out of the Moeller timeout. And here he is, Mr. Pung on serve. Reneker with the first. Patterson the decoy that time. Haggerty can't get it done. Harmeyer. Meyer through and got it. Off the hand of Patterson. And we're seeing X start to figure things out through Will Patterson more. He's not having nearly the defensive success he had early on.
And that's a good sign, because that's what we saw in the first matchup between these two teams. And overall, Patterson was rather quiet. And at the same time, I think the attackers know how to use his potential.
That ball got on Stewart from Patterson before Stewart could even react. Two teams continue to trade the serve. And it remains a 4-point Bombers lead. Markham with a low flat. Harmeyer out wide to Meyer. Kept alive by Stewart. Meyer reloads to the back line. Nice dig by Reneker. Haggerty, good dig by Stewart. Quick play over, Wong fills in. Patterson right at the feet of Stewart. He can't get there. That's a well-played point on both sides. The ultimate tally goes to Moeller, and now within 3. Another low flat serve from Markham. Leaves the Bombers scrambling, and it'll be a free ball here. Patterson quickly ends the point.
And once again, I think Patterson has found Stewart as a weak point there, as we see a timeout taken by St. X.
Serve receive becoming an issue here in the last few moments for the Bombers, as Moeller's finding momentum. They'll serve to try and get back within 1 here in the third. Good timeout here from Bill Ferris. Getting the sense that Moeller's starting to put it back together right here. I think a right time to call that timeout, try and break that momentum.
Most certainly indeed for Moeller. And I think for St. X too, it's just trying to get their composure. You see that especially early on in that second set, where they were up maybe 3-4 points and then they lost it. Moeller started to take advantage. They don't want this to happen again, especially with this being the third set. The more convincingly St. X would win this, the more convincingly they have a chance of staying in this match.
Wong, indecisive, just goes safe with it. Harmeyer out wide to Meyer and mistimed the jump just a hair as he was trying to go cross court. And now Moeller will serve for the tie. Markham gets his assignment from Coach Lee Meyer, but doesn't execute it and fires it into the net.
Now for St. X, as we see Nick Stewart go back. As my broadcast partner Anthony France would say, whenever you have a DS or libero back there, this is always a chance for you to get a run, because you can get serves inside.
Run's not going to happen, though, as Moeller has the answer with Gesselbrock on the left. 14-13, St. X leads in the third, and Ben Haggerty back on serve. Deep ball played by Stewart. Harmeyer quickly over, and A break to be had for St. X there as Jones mistimed the jump. And ping pong action off the deflection, able to be enough.
So Jones, fun fact, only sophomore on the St. X side, played on the JV B level last year, and that's one thing, especially in that middle position, is really helping out the Bombers.
He has been really, really big for St. X offensively, particularly since the start of that second set. Both he and Pung together have been strong. Here's now Moeller's libero on serve, Brandon Wong. Had that incredible diving play to end the second set. Good dig. Wong will set it up out wide to Gesselbrock. Gesselbrock will reload on the right. And we are tied at 15. Punch, counter punch. Would you expect anything else from these two GCL rivals, especially in a regional final? Long goes left. Terrell coming from the left side this time with a little hostility on the ball.
And once again, did you see that leap over there, Jason?
Oh,
that was awesome.
Well, he can get up. He can get up as well as anybody we've seen. Short serve, that's going off the net and won't get over. It's a good response here now for St. X with the last couple after Moeller briefly tied things at 15. Meyer once more. Markham out wide to Renneker. And it is over to Moeller.
Renneker once again is using that left-hand side really to his advantage. I have not seen many St. X attackers come up towards the net and really block that. They're kind of taking Renneker for granted here and not really treating him like really that big of an asset compared to Patterson or Gesselbrock. They're kind of picking and choosing when those moments happen, which is rather interesting, knowing that you are up by one, but at the same time, you could win it more convincingly.
The terror delivers from the right. 18-16 St. X. Brady Jones, sophomore coming of age here in this regional final to play it in. Markham, little short for Renneker, and it'll end up being advantage to Moeller anyway. I think it surprised Jones how much Renneker had to take off of that ball going over.
Yeah, and I think it was also because there were two other guys in the area, so it's just been unable to do that there, especially since you do have Brady Jones a middle in the back line. So if the Bombers wanted, they could take a substitution here, but nonetheless decided to keep Jones in.
Harmeyer with the back set, the terror again. He has been unstoppable on that right front for St. X. This has been the only area that you could definitively say thus far in the match Moeller has had no answer for, and that's Reed Terrell on that right front. St. X 19, Moeller 17. Haggerty towards the back, playable. Harmeyer to Pung. Again takes a step back and caught the line.
And now we're seeing Pung starting to evolve. You talked about a loose cannon. I think it's a loose trajectory. He's almost playing Archer at this point.
And contrary to the first two sets, it's been St. X who's had a steady lead throughout here in the third. Haggerty misses long. And I think Lee Meyer of Moeller is going to take a timeout here. He will. It'll be the second and final timeout of the set for Moeller. St. X with a 4-point lead, looking to stay alive in this regional final. St. X using barely more than 30 seconds of the 60 seconds allowed during the timeout. They're ready to go. They want to keep the momentum going. Moeller just now, as the horn sounds, breaking its huddle. As for the first time, the Crusaders have been the ones playing on their heels. It's been St. X in control for most of this set. Leading 21-17 right now, and Charles Krebs with the serve out of the timeout. Sails it some 5 feet long.
And again, it's just that moment. That was a good time out there by Lee Meyer just to freeze the Bombers' momentum. As you saw there, they now have the ball back to serve. This is their chance that they can take to potentially tie this one up.
Brody Threm on serve. Will Patterson back in on the front line for Moeller. Patterson with the block. Nice job by Stewart to keep it alive. Pung out wide. That hit the antenna and went long anyway, so it is a point to Moeller. 21-19 in favor of St. X. The Bombers still do have 1 timeout remaining here in the set. Moeller has used its 2 allotted. Threm glanced the tape quickly into the middle, and Feldkamp takes the serve back for the Bombers.
One thing I've seen out of Feldkamp, I saw this in both Moeller games, is that he's no longer fearless about trying to get in front of the net and facing that opposition. He had a tough time against Elder, and granted, you know, Will Buskin, Joey Bianco, and Drew Mounty are a tough pair to have. As who knows, Bombers or Crusaders might see the Panthers in the final this year, but nonetheless, it's a team that's playing with some confidence and playing with momentum, just not right there.
Moeller takes it back. Yes, Elder is already through to the state quarterfinals. A dispatched of Sycamore in straight sets. Elder on the opposite side of the state bracket from these 2 teams as Patterson comes back to life defensively up front. So the only way one of these 2 teams would see Elder would be in the state title match. That would be on Sunday, June 5th. But right now in this regional final, with some back and forth action here, X wanting a lift called against Moeller. They won't get it, and that is blocked up front. But Patterson can't get it over, and now St. X 2 points away from taking the third.
And that's a lucky break there as Ben Meyer was once again trying to jump up, and Patterson once again trying to go en route. He had 7 blocks against the Bombers when they met up at the Burning Gym.
Nick Stewart to play this in. That reserve receive almost went over, and now a violation as Moeller reached over to touch it, and St. X with 3 set points. They had 4 set point opportunities in set number 2 and could not convert on any of them. Markham, Gesselbrock blocked. Patterson mishits long, and St. X stays alive. They don't need 4 set point opportunities. It only takes 1. And we will see a 4th set as the Bombers keep fighting and take set 3 from Moeller, 25-21. Set 4 on the other side of this timeout. St. X takes set 3 to stay in the match. Moeller leads 2 sets to 1 heading to the 4th. And Mahir, you talked at the beginning of the 3rd set about how really X, you could say they let the 2nd set get away, 4 set point opportunities. But I think to the point you brought up, X by and large was the better team in that 2nd set, and I felt like they had an extra pep in their step in that 3rd to try and prove that. And even though it was only a 4-point margin in that 3rd set, you never really got the feeling that Moeller was a threat as much in that 3rd set as they were obviously in the 1st and more so in the 2nd.
Exactly, and I think it comes down to Reed Terrell, for one, put up a great set.
He was great.
He was exactly what we thought he would be, the Terrell Terror. Matt Pung, too, fresh off coming off the bench. That has been the change of the game for Bill Ferris, taking Kyle Tressler out and putting Pung in. And then Ben Meyer, too. I want to see him kind of come to life and really evolve. He's been kind of stopped here and there, and rightfully so. Moeller has seen him and has seen the damage that he's done throughout the whole year. It will be interesting to see if he can come back into this one and really pose a threat as well.
And for Moeller on the other side, just not quite the same intensity that we saw, especially in the 1st set and even into the 2nd set. I thought they were a little flat, maybe took their foot off the gas just a hair there in the 3rd. They'll look to rebound here starting the 4th. Here is Pung, and Wong is right there in perfect position. The 2nd play is over, and that's a bad play from the right side there by Tyler Gesselbrock. I'm not sure why he played that the way he did on the 2nd.
I think Moeller was just caught ball watching over there. They were just looking there at Wong, eventually sending it forward. Sure, Wong did pick up a kill to win the 2nd set, but nonetheless, that was incredibly rare.
Markham out wide to Haggerty to the back line. Meyer there. And that ball crawled up on Gesselbrock. And it's 2-0 in favor of St. X. They've gotten out, taking the first couple here in each set thus far tonight. Threm in the middle. Nice dig out the back by Meyer. Free ball here for Moeller. They'll go out wide. Haggerty into the wall, and Wong can't handle it. And Harmeyer this time burying it on the outside. We don't see him do that a lot, but Mike Harmeyer puts it away. It's 3-0 St. X.
And that's what you want to see out of Harmeyer, a guy who can also be right at the net. He's been in a bunch of two-man attacks this year, may have not gotten the recognition that maybe his fellow teammates have gotten, but nonetheless is getting the points. Boy, oh boy, St. X has got all the momentum right now, and that too in set 4. If the Bombers are to take the set, they have true momentum going into what will be a decisive Game 5.
St. X is flying high right now. They are flying to the ball in every facet of the game. Haggerty gets one back that Moeller sorely needed here early in the 4th to get on the board. Now, if you're the Crusaders, who do you try to turn to? It'll be Brody Threm up on serve. But I've not seen very crisp offense for Moeller since really midway through the second set. Pung misses long. Threm once more. Safe play, Harmeyer. A little bit of a excuse me play there from Feldkamp. Kind of an in-between pass too, as Harmeyer went out to the left. Kind of sent that one too long for Feldkamp, but too short for Pung. And Moeller now has gone on a little mini run of 3 straight. Nice play off the side by Meyer. Pung sets up. Threm there. Markham will go across, and it won't matter as it'll be a double on Ben Markham. A rare error there for the sophomore. And X will come back on serve with Pung. And
once again, the question is it powerful in place, or is it a loose cannon? It's in play.
Gesselbrock from the back. Pung keeps it alive on the deflection. Harmeyer cross court to Meyer into the wall, but not over the net.
I have to appreciate what St. X is doing. I think ever since they lost that second set, they're playing now at the pace like their lives, and of course their season depends on it, but they're playing with ultra focus right now.
And Moeller's been completely flat for me since Brandon Wong's incredible play to win the second set. They are not playing with the same energy and intensity that we saw in the first 2 sets. It looked like they took their foot off the gas in the 3rd, and now it's kind of a hangover effect here in the 4th, and you can't do that against a team like St. X. They'll get one back here with Patterson. That's something I'd like to see Moeller go more to here in the 4th set. Get Will Patterson reintroduced to the offense because he was not involved much in that 3rd set. Ben Markham. Serve that time. Patterson got a piece. Wong couldn't get from behind. Ever since the beginning of the second set, Patterson has really struggled with his defense up top.
And more importantly, it's just not getting the direction. St. X has learned how to use those kills. They don't have to go straight to ground. They just have to get it enough to put it in play and to eventually just deflect it off.
Ben Haggerty takes one back here for the Crusaders. And he will also now step back to serve. And already starting to feel like a pattern that was throughout the 3rd set. St. X builds an early lead, and then we trade points back and forth. Patterson got a left hand on it, and that's all.
It is interesting to see both sides. As I noted earlier, Jones went straight from the JVB level to varsity this year. Tyler Gesselbrock also went from JVB to varsity between last year and this year. It is interesting to see both sides just in general just try to keep it around. Also show that they're truly evenly matched.
10-5 St. X. I got to tell you, I'm looking over the Moeller sideline. If I'm Lee Meyer, I'm thinking about a timeout, and not so much a strategy timeout, but to try and wake my team up. Got to be a timeout here now for Moeller off the ace. Lee Meyer thinking about it. And he's not going to take it. 11-5 St. X. And now Harmeyer puts one into the tape. Patterson out, Threm in, and right now I think it's a good move for Moeller to get Patterson out. He has not been effective since really the first set. Brandon Wong, little backspin on it. Harmeyer quick into the middle, and it's that combination of Harmeyer to Jones in the middle that Moeller has had trouble with all night long. And X has again doubled up Moeller, this time at 12-6 in the fourth.
I think that's what St. X's strength has been. We saw this against Walnut Hills. We're seeing it once again today. Double hit called there on the Crusaders. And just going back to my point, that kind of goes to what Brady Jones has added to this side. Last year, the Bombers lost their middle before the season started, and they had to go outside, even with all the tools they had, including like Ben Carmesino and Henry Kastner. Nonetheless, this was a Bomber side that is starting to evolve, as we see right before our eyes.
Brady Jones is taking over this game here in the third set. There's going to have to be a timeout now for Moeller, as this match is completely flipped. St. X in command of Moeller here in the fourth. It's 14-6. Doesn't even feel that close here at Princeton High School. You go back and watch the first set of this match, you would think at some point these two teams swap jerseys, the way things have turned around. St. X down 2-1 in the match, but all the momentum right now in the fourth, and a 14-6 lead. It feels almost double that margin right now, the way that not only St. X has been playing, but also Moeller has been a big aid in that as well. The Crusaders have not been on their game in quite some time. X just has everything red right now from the Crusaders. Free ball here for Moeller, and Threm can't put it down. Reneker on the rebound.
And that was just a bad move there by Nick Stewart, running towards the opposite side. Once again, crashing into the near side, kind of towards the left side of your screen for the folks watching at home. And that kind of caused the Bombers, or at least Reneker, to have that easy kill.
The terror on the right front. He has been awesome on that right front side. Conversely, I am shocked. There has been virtually no adjustment for Moeller to try and counter Reed Terrell on that right front.
Well, at the same time, you look at the rest of the guys they have. They have they have Gesselbrocht and they have Patterson mainly going on the right. They haven't made that adjustment, and it's only getting worse and worse.
16-7 in favor of St. X, and the Bombers running away here in set number 4.
It is interesting to note just how immense this rivalry is. We talked about it at the top of the show. This is actually the 9th postseason battle between these two teams. Bombers currently lead that series 5-3. This is the 4th time they meet up in the regional finals. They met up in 2008, 2010, and 2017.
That serve goes into the net. 17-8 in favor of St. X. Even Moeller right now, there's a good idea how out of sorts they are. Can't even figure out who is supposed to serve right now. Pung on the left. Deep middle is there.
Boy, oh boy, I sound like a broken record saying this, Jason, but Matt Pung has just evolved in the course of this game. Instead of just lining that one down rather linear and causing that one to go out of play, he's deciding to arc his kills a little bit, and that's enough to just catch him out of position, almost as if he was doing a float serve.
Markham trying to get cutesy there, and Pung had it red all the way.
This is looking a little reminiscent to last year's regional final the Bombers were in, where they beat the Panthers 25-13 in the fourth set, but unlike that, the Bombers didn't have momentum going into it.
That ball blocked but sent back. A reload. Everything, and I mean everything, going the Bombers' way, and Moeller right now is absolutely no answers. Again.
Pung did it again.
Timeout, Moeller. This has been a woodshed beatdown here in the fourth set. St. X, a 13-point lead, trying to send it to a fifth set. St. X 21, Moeller 8. The Bombers trying to send it to a fifth and deciding set in this South Regional Final. We said at the top of the broadcast we had no idea what to expect coming in from these two teams, as evenly matched as they are. And boy, have they certainly lived up to the billing in that regard. And now, out of the timeout, Moeller is going to go deeper into their bench as Jack Dollard and Jude Lewis will be in for the first time in the match. Dollard, a junior defensive specialist, and Lewis on the near side, a senior outside hitter, back left. So Lee Meyer just trying to find something that will wake his team up. Easily kept alive in the back by Krebs. Here is Pung. Wong somehow kept that up for Moeller. Lewis through, not down. Poked over from behind, and we have net contact against Moeller.
Once again, just great hustle by St. X. What we're seeing now is they're running for the ball, just trying to get that one in play right now. You look at Moeller's substitutions too. Jack Dollard, who takes it right there. Diaz was a starter earlier this year, and then you had Jude Lewis there, who's committed to Mount St. Joe's. So not too bad of a transition for Lee Meyer, but nonetheless, when you look at this, Bombers up by 13, 3 points away from taking this fourth set and setting this one to a fifth set. Once again, showing the Bombers can really do it.
22-9 in favor here. Harmeyer dumped over, kept alive by Gesselbrock, sent right back. Gesselbrock pops it up. Here is Lewis going long and too long. (23-9). This serve goes long from Pung. Still a comfortable lead here for St. X, and Moeller has shown no indications of getting back into this match regardless. Gesselbrock straight up, Pung down to the floor, and Harmeyer trying to fight through and can't quite do it.
That's a good play there by Jude Lewis, as you might have heard the Jude chants going on in the back from the Moeller's student section. Just trying to, once again, just knock it down, give some type of momentum back to the Crusaders.
Not going to happen here as Meyer gets that one. I said in the first set, I didn't think I'd ever say in this type of match we would see 10 set points. We did it for Moeller. I wouldn't dream coming into this one saying 13 set points. And this will be advantage Bombers. Lewis goes soft and over and just in front of the back line. Clever play from the senior.
It will be interesting to see what Lewis has done now. We saw him on the left, now we saw him on the right. He's able to use that versatility and so far paying some dividends to Meyer's squad.
Meyer into the antenna. So Moeller has staved off 2. Still 11 to go. Meyer. Wong somehow got it over again. Meyer to reload. Blocked by Patterson. Jude Lewis making his impact felt there as well. Set point number 4 for St. X. Trying to send it to a 5th and deciding set. Harmeyer out to Meyer, blocked, still playable. Wong. Markham will go out wide, and it is put away by Jack Dollard.
And the momentum for St. X is kind of slipping away. So is the crowd noise as well. Of course, that first set point, oh, the Bomber fans were clapping there.
It's the tape and crawls over. Dumped over by Mike Harmeyer. No, it's overturned. It's overturned, point to Moeller. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary there that would warrant an overturn, but nevertheless, Moeller has it. It'll be set point number 6.
Now be wary here. Fair still has some points to give before he could potentially call a timeout.
Won't matter now as Bentley Meyer ends it. It took 6 tries, but St. X has won the 4th. We will indeed go the distance here in the South Regional Final as St. X has taken over in these last 2 sets. It's now a race to 15 on the other side of this timeout. We are heading to a 5th and final set in this South Regional Finals. Moeller wins the first 2. St. X has won the last 2. Moeller has not blown a 2-0 lead in any match since May of 2015 in the state semifinals against Beaver Creek. It has been that long since the Crusaders have let a 2-0 lead slip away from their grasp.
And then
this season, Moeller 1-1 in 5-setters, beating LaSalle and losing to Centerville. St. X on their side, they are 2-0 in 5-setters. Most notably, handing Elder its only loss on the season. Set number 5 about to begin. But here, it's a race to 15.
Yes, indeed. And if you're the Bombers and Crusaders, like you said, this is the pedal to the metal. You want to leave it out on the court, but at the same time, you want to be smart if you're St. X. This is a new set. I said it at the 2nd set to try to get some momentum back. I'll say it again. This is a new set. We are at a blank page. This momentum still needs to be given. Also, another point, you talked about Moeller in 5 sets. This is now the 3rd consecutive final that the Bombers have performed now that they have not been the #1 seed, and it's their 3rd consecutive regional final in which this has gone to 5 sets.
Another double called against Moeller, and set number 5 sees its first point awarded to the Bombers. It's been nearly 7 years since Moeller has blown a 2-0 lead in any match. Trying to avoid that here. Haggerty gets one back. The cleanest strike Moeller's had, you could say, since the 3rd set.
And again, it's just Haggerty finding the open space, and no Bombers are there to block it. Simply just comes down to net play, like I said at the top of the show.
Ben Markham on serve. Harmeyer has to chase, and Pung has to wait on it. Safe play here. Free ball here for Moeller. Yesobrock off the fingertips and out. Point to Moeller. 2-1, Crusaders with the lead. 2 sets apiece. Both teams do have 2 timeouts at their availability in this 5th. Markham to the right side, misses wide. And those are the little things you can ill afford to have here in the 5th set. Matthew Pung on serve. And another double is called. Sloppy from Hegarty on the back right. You know you're at a high school event when you hear the "you can't do that" chant. Will Patterson can do that, though. We're tied at 3.
And once again, it's just Patterson who has just devoured one balls today like it's nothing. As we saw it there, poor Nick Stewart once again just got out of position, or really he was at position and just got a wicked deflection once again.
Jack Dollard, who came in late in the 4th, now to serve here in the 5th. A low flat. Harmeyer going across to Meyer and got it off the arm of Jude Lewis.
And that's a smart play there by Meyer. Knows that he can't necessarily put that back into play, just tries to play it off the arm, and nonetheless gets the point.
Nick Stewart to serve. St. X in the lead, 4-3. Remember, it's a race to 15. You still have to win by 2. Gesselbrock off the tape. That never got over. It'll be sent wide anyway. Point to St. X. A missed call, but doesn't affect anything in the terms of proper scoring. And a 2-point St. X lead. I think if they get one more here, we might see a Moeller timeout.
I agree.
Got it for Moeller. Just touched as it was heading toward the back line. And now senior libero Brandon Wong for Moeller to try and tie it at 5 here in the 5th. Harmeyer quickly in the middle of Jones. Moeller read it beautifully that time. Nate Renneker, and really the first time all night, Mahir, that we've seen Moeller be ready for that quick one in the middle.
And more importantly, someone other than Tyler Gesselbrock or Will Patterson.
That's a great point. Renneker's been solely outside all night long. That serve receives going over. It's a free ball here for Moeller. Renneker rejected back, but it's out of play. Harmeyer was in perfect position. Just a fraction of an inch off on the angle with the hand, and now Moeller has scored the last 3. Harmeyer out wide to Meyer. Dollard could not get himself in position, and we're tied at 6.
I said earlier, I think towards the 4th set, when is Ben Meyer going to show himself? This is the time to do so. So he's now in the front, so this is going to be his time, especially with Harmeyer there back to serve. It's going to be that type of connection. He could be anywhere on the court, and especially when it comes to coverage.
Dollard, not a strong play on the first. It's going to give X a free ball. Where does Harmeyer go? He'll go out wide to Meyer again, and Meyer will deliver the goods again. I think Moeller got so focused there seeing Reed Terrell come over to the right that they almost forgot about Meyer on the left and left him out there on an island, and now it's X back in the lead. Another awkward play on the receive, and now that ball does not get into the net. Moeller having some fundamental issues here in the 5th. 8-6 in favor of X, and again, I think if it gets to 3 here, you're going to see a Moeller timeout. It will not. My goodness. Wow. How did that not get over?
I have no idea. I have no idea. There is some kind of trick the volleyball gods are playing, which, I mean, have you seen the other second set? Have you seen the comeback?
It's been that kind of night. Harmeyer with the back set to Meyer, blocked by Renneker, but still playable. Terrell from the left, that is blocked, still alive. Harmeyer sets up Meyer again. Moeller wanted a double contact, they won't get it. Renneker through the wall and in play on the back line. We're tied at 8. This is fun. Pressure situation for Tyler Gesselbrock, as Mahir said, came from JVB up to the varsity this season. Now in a clutch situation in this regional final. Markham with the back set to Gesselbrock, and it is in. The sophomore delivers, and even a fist pump from Lee Meyer, who shows almost no emotion on the sideline. And Moeller with some momentum. It'll be a St. X timeout. We are in the 5th. Back and forth we go. Moeller serving with a 9-8 lead heading to 15. We have dueling Let's Go Mo and Let's Go X chants during this timeout. These two teams have been trading blows throughout this fifth set. Moeller with the lead, 9-8, and on serve is sophomore Tyler Gesselbrock of the Crusaders. St. X will have one timeout remaining here in the set. Harmeyer with the back set. Meyer goes soft with it. Free ball here. Markham out wide to Reneker. Through and down. 10-8 Moeller. Moeller continues to have success here at the net without Will Patterson on the floor. Gesselbrock goes deep this time. Where does Harmeyer go? A back set to Meyer. Kept alive by Reneker. Wong. Dollard pokes it over from the back, and that is going out. Somehow saved as Meyer flew over the scores table. It's still alive. Meyer with the bump. Reneker here, blocked and through. What an effort on both sides as Meyer went diving into the score table to keep it alive, and Reneker eventually gets it through the Bomber wall. 3-point lead for Moeller.
One more, and I think Ferris has to take a timeout here.
Sophomore Tyler Gesselbrock remains on serve. Stewart, nice play. Harmeyer out wide. Safely played over by Ryan Morgan, who's in for St. X. Reneker has been good here in the fifth, and he continues to be. It's a 4-point lead, and Mahir right on the call. It'll be St. X's second and final timeout as Moeller has surged ahead. 12-8 here in the fifth. Moeller only needs 3 more for the region title. Mahir, I don't think there's too much in the way of strategy being talked about in either huddle, as both teams were out of it in just over 30 seconds. I think for Bill Ferris right now, it's what do you got left in the tank? Empty it all if you're going to try and get back into this. Gesselbrock to keep his momentum on serve, misses, and we've seen multiple times that happen here tonight. Coming out of a timeout, a man on a serving roll misses immediately out of it.
And that's a good change there by Ferris. Ryan Morgan out, Reed Terrell now in, Ben Meyer to take the serve. The 3 guys that have been crucial today alongside Brady Jones. This is the 6 you want out if you're St. X.
Gesselbrock from the back. Stewart kept it alive, but no one there in the middle for the Bombers, and now Moeller 2 points away. We'll see Ben Haggerty back in for Moeller, as well as Jude Lewis. Will Patterson has been on the bench for the duration of this fifth set. Jude Lewis only saw action late in the fourth, now serves here in the fifth, and another bad miss on serve.
And again, that's a rough move by Lewis. Sure, he came in the fourth set as we see him check out. Again, it's just
rushed himself. I think he rushed himself there.
Yeah.
13-10 in favor of Moeller. Now a late sub coming in. It'll be Alex Huber coming in late for Brady Jones here. That's a late sub here. What do you think?
That's an interesting move. Huber is a DS. He can get the float serves in, and that's probably the more priority for Ferris, more than just getting that one up and over.
Haggerty through almost. It is still alive, but will not get over. And Moeller now has 4 championship points in hand. And St. X does not have a timeout to use. It'll be Brody Threm, the junior, to try and close out another region title for the Crusaders. Pung swings and gets it done.
That was lucky there by Matt Pung, of course, kind of just swinging for the fences, but nonetheless, just a lucky touch to get it out.
Krebs will come in now for Terrell. That has been the substitution pattern we've seen. Championship point number 2 for Moeller. Krebs must get it in play. Markham sends it over on the second as Patterson returns. Here is Pung. Pung blocked, stays alive. Meyer from the back middle. Still alive. Markham to Patterson. Still alive. Pung once more. Got it to go! The scrambling of Ben Meyer on the back line just saved, for the moment anyway, the region title for St. X.
And that's what you want to see. A lot of guys all the way back in OHS BVA history talk about guys who want to cover the court. And it's a one-point game.
A complete miscommunication between Haggerty and Reneker. Set point, championship point number 4 for Moeller. Timeout, Moeller. Would you expect anything else? Another classic between Moeller and St. X. We are in the 5th. Moeller 14, St. X 13. Bombers got to serve it in play. Moeller's 4th chance at a region title is next. I mentioned it a moment ago out of the previous timeout. Will this one break the serve of the man who's been on a bit of a roll here on serve, Charles Krebs? We've seen it happen multiple times. The serving man out of the timeout miss. If Krebs misses here, Moeller has won the region. Match point number 4 for Moeller. Haggerty through and down, and it's over. Moeller on the 4th try has won the region championship, 15-13 in the 5th.
Well, folks, you just saw a presentation of OHS BVA volleyball at its best.
Oh, another one here. We talked about the region final last year between Elder and St. X. Could have been for a state championship. I don't know, and we'll find out a week from now in Columbus if we'll see a match as good as we just saw here in this South Region final.
I don't know about that, Jason. I'll tell you that this goes down as one of the best games I've ever called. Granted, my St. X Bombers did lose, but nonetheless, you gotta love GCL volleyball at its finest, especially going into OHSAA. It's gonna become big time next year as it becomes an emerging sport. You gotta love what boys volleyball is here in Ohio, and you just saw the crown jewel of it tonight.
That is well said. Moeller wins it 25-14, 31-29, 21-25, 16-25, and 15-13. Lee Meyer and Bill Ferris with an extended conversation at midcourt. They are rivals, but there is a healthy respect among these two programs, and especially those two coaches right there as they part ways now before Moeller comes to get the region championship trophy. Moeller will indeed try to go back to Columbus to defend its state championship from a year ago. They will take on Olentangy Liberty. We'll show you the bracket here in just a moment. I'll give you the picture of Moeller receiving the region title trophy. And also St. X being given the regional runner-up trophy. No shame there for the Bombers. It's just unfortunate the way things are geographically set up that these two teams are in the same region and have to go through one another to get to the state tournament. St. X comes up short here. Moeller now has another region title to add to the trophy case at Moeller High School. As you see, Brandon Wong comes to get it, and they will pose for some photos as they celebrate winning a classic here over St. X. Here is the updated bracket in Division I. Moeller is through. They will take on Olentangy Liberty on Saturday, June the 4th at a 10 a.m. first serve. You see the bottom half of the region. Hudson will take on Beaver Creek. The winners advance to the semifinals. Here is the other side of the bracket. Elder at the top taking on Dublin Jerome. And on the bottom side, Centerville takes on St. Ignatius. All of those matches beginning June 4th up at Pickerington Central High School in the Columbus area. If you cannot be there, make sure you're tuned in here to OHSBVABroadcast.com. You can watch all the coverage, both live and on demand, through our ESP Media production efforts. What a day here in Cincinnati. Baden has won a regional title in Division II. Elder has won a regional title in Division I. Moeller and St. X were put into the nightcap. We thought it would be the match of the day. It might have been here the match of the year in Ohio volleyball.
I'm not surprised, too. When you look at the resume between these two teams, combined, they have 21 state final appearances, 12 state titles. You think about it, these two have met up in the state final 5 times, which is actually more times than they've met up at this stage, the regional finals. It just shows how big and historic this rivalry really is. And yet again, we saw a 5-set classic between these two sides. And yet again, I believe that's, at least in my years of covering, there has been a 5-set thriller between St. X and Moeller every year.
Every single year. This time with the region title on the line, Moeller does just enough to get through, winning 15-13 in the 5th. What a match we just saw here. What a day of volleyball here at Princeton High School for this regional action. That's going to wrap up our coverage here today. For our producer and director, Zach Waddell, my partner, Mahir Sinhasan, I am Jason Grieper. Thank you so much for joining us. What a day it was, capped by perhaps the match of the year. Moeller has won the region title, taking down St. X in a 5-set thriller that you've been watching live on OHSBVABroadcast.com.